Okay, great.
Okay,
Nice.
yes.
Yeah, because I found out he's did you say he was used? Oh, nice. Hey, excellent. So we'll get that well, yeah, you said you were both using the your computer. So yeah, got it.
Yes,
Okay.
he's right here, and I'm right here sticking my hands like that's me. We're in the same room. So
Yes, I
yes,
Nice.
gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Christina, you're up.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 7 o'clock hour of the Boston Poetry Marathon. We are completely online, but 100% tuned in with our hearts and our minds. So I am so pleased to have all be here for 7 o'clock. Our first and certainly not the least reader is Tracy Marks. So Tracy, would you like to begin?
All right. I teach creative writing and literature online through Lexington Community Ed. And I'm going to read three of my poems, two revised versions of old poems and one new one. The first one is called Meltdown Barely Polar, and I spell barely Bearly. She was not intending to precipitate a thaw, to separate herself on ice floes, her careening chunks of rage melting the sludgy tundra. The days had become unbearably warm. She could not bridge the interglacial gaps by mobile phone. Air was not her medium, nor was endless dripping slush. How could she feed on separation, nurse her cub when so endangered by slabs of floating feelings? Each avalanche of ice unhinged her, the vertical instability, the horizontally expanding slush. She was not meant to drown in boundless waters, the white flecked sea churning, permafrost unfreezing, releasing gases of past centuries, instinctual vapors, transmuting solids into liquids. The geology, the climatology of the steaming porridge rocked her Arctic habitation, trembled beneath her weight. She was losing her footing, all fours sliding on slippery ice, then stabbed by fallen shards of broken bergs, shaken by ceaseless clackings and creakings, each roar, each plunge, a tidal surge that sunk more clumps of frozen land. My second poem is a spiritual poem. It quotes a bit from Exodus in the Bible. When I am quoting, um, can everyone hear me? I've got an internet unstable message. Okay. When I'm quoting, I'll do this. Okay. It's called Exodus 3. An angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire out of a bush. He gazed, and there was a bush all aflame, yet the bush was not consumed. Why are there bulldozers ravaging my garden, my secret sanctuary? The chrysanthemums, hyacinths, peonies, the rosebush blushing with hot pink petals, a profusion of color. Why are there bulldozers ravaging my garden? I was watching when they came. First, the rough scraping of the rakes, and then the plow leveling the ground with rusty roar as it tore through the flower bed, pulled at roots which refused to give way, clinging to their sacred foundation. I heard the shriek of the defrocked rose, the shrill cry of the iris, its ripped and jagged wings crushed into coarse earth and flung through the air, scattered with topsoil by the wind. Why are there bulldozers ravaging my garden? When the Lord saw that he had turned aside to look, God called to him. The time of flowers is over, he said. You must not cling to spring or try to contain summer. The time of ease has passed. Let go of your blossoming. Next, he said, plant corn, plant carrots, plant kale. Now, I asked, stepping forward. And he said, do not come closer. Remove your sandals from your feet, for the place on which you stand is holy ground. And my final poem is not one of my best in terms of crafts, but it has an important message, which I think is particularly timely today. It's called Some of Us Are Broken. Some of us are broken in a broken world, converting our fear into anger, anger into monologuing rants that lead our listeners to nod their heads or rant their own rants without hearing us, without wanting to hear. So there is no dialogue. And yet at the base, we are afraid. Those of us on the left and far left, those of us on the right and far right, even those of us in the middle, even those of us so glued to our televisions or iPhones or browsers or medicated on illegal or legal substances that we are oblivious to our own anguish. Can we admit that we are afraid, even terrified? That we are angry, even furious? That we are hurting, deeply grieving? That we so vehemently want to live in a world in which love prevails over hate? For unless we acknowledge our fear and anger and pain and need, unless we allow our hearts to open, unless we commit ourselves to building a better future, we cannot find or forge a path to love and hope and trust, or hear ourselves or each other, and honor our common ground, our common values, our common dreams, our common humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy Marks. That last poem captured our zeitgeist, not just pre-election, but in terms of who we are. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
I've been sending that with my vote forward letters.
It is a wise thing to do. If only our world would catch up. Next up, we have Samuel Ace. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday night. I'm going to be reading from my new book. It's coming out actually October 1st from Cleveland State University Poetry Center. It's called I Want to Start by Saying. And this is the very beginning of the book. I want to start by saying that I hear the filter in the turtle tank like a fountain. I want to start by saying like a fountain in the middle of a field of wildflowers. I want to start by saying that today would have been my father's 84th birthday, that he died 18 days before his 79th. I want to start by saying that he was young and that death took him by surprise. Filter in the turtle tank like a fountain. I want to start by saying like a fountain in the middle. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a big echo. Does someone have their okay, I'll keep going. I want to start by saying that my mother died 9 months ago, less than 4.5 years after my father. I want to start by saying that the beginning of this sentence, I want to start by saying that a child could have been born in that time. I want to start by saying that a whole year has gone by since my godchild's birth. I want to start by saying that it's difficult to come to the page. I want to start by saying that I can no longer find my father's last voice message. I want to start by saying that today I read about a German soldier who destroyed a small French town toward the end of World War II. I want to start by saying that the soldier tortured and killed nearly every person living in that town. I want to start by saying that 75 years later, he is just now being tried for murder. I want to start by saying, I want to call my father. I want to start by saying that his voice might still be alive on an old cell phone buried in a box somewhere in my closet. I want to start by saying an archive. I want to start by saying how to retrieve the past. I want to start by saying there are so many versions. I want to start by saying that my closet is filled with intentions. I feel them every morning when I take out my clothes, get dressed, and close the door. I want to start by saying that the intentions are always waiting. I want to start by saying that last night 9 people were murdered at an AME church in Charleston. I want to start by saying that yesterday, US soldiers in Nevada operating drones over Afghanistan murdered a family of 5. I want to start by saying my father would have cried watching Obama sing Amazing Grace. I want to start by saying that I cried, but what are tears? I want to start by saying that I cry whenever I see a baby being born. I want to start by saying on TV or in a movie. I want to start by saying it feels like a deep and shredding grief. I want to start by saying on TV. I want to start by saying, will I ever witness a baby being born? I want to start by saying, I want to hear my father's voice. I want to start by saying that I think through my fingers, my shoulders, my eyes when they are closed. I want to start by saying it's the movement of my hands on a keyboard that I love, not the residue or the aftermath. I want to start by saying not even the words. I want to start by saying that somewhere I have just passed 730 words, auspicious because 7 plus 3 plus 0 equals 10 equals 1, which is a lucky number. I want to start by saying that somewhere I have passed 3,561 characters, auspicious because 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 1 equals 15 equals 6, which is also a lucky number. I have checked. I want to start by saying that when I pump gas or consider an address as a place to live, I want the total to equal 1, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, or 12. I want to start by saying that I constantly add numbers inside my head. I want to start by asking if I should delete the first 6 words. They are probably unnecessary. I want to start by saying that I'd like to hold on to them for a while. They are lucky. Thank you. Thanks.
Samuel, that was brilliant and powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next up, we have Thomas DeFreitas.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Thank you to Chad and everyone who is involved in facilitating and organizing this year's poetry marathon. And it's good to be in a virtual space where poetry is happening. I will be reading 2 poems tonight. The first is a prose poem from my chapbook that came out last year, Swift River Ballad. It is called My Belly. My belly is ample and accepting, Catholic and capacious. It takes up space. It gives you room. My big old liberal belly filled with poached eggs and coffee, subversive stories and baritone dollops of whimsy. Today, I am thanking my belly for being so well-rounded, truly a civil and impeccable gentle belly, eager with factoids, brave with bombast, adroit at a quadrillion gaucheries. There's nothing prim or diminutive about my belly. Sonnets plead to be composed, praising the span and scope of my belly, comic whippersnapper, surly bastard. Miraculous mischief becomes my belly, all things coarse and calamitous dwell within its domain, glittering visitors present their credentials at my endomorphic court. My belly is Massachusetts and Mannahatta. Pacific and pedantic, it pays effusive homage to other bellies of its phylum and ilk. Winsome and tickled, athletic as a boulder, chaste as a film noir vixen, my belly sings Ambrosian canticles, tells brash and lascivious jokes. Behold the half-assed majesty, the off-kilter lean and lilt of my belly. It stands at the door of the 5 and 10. It kneels at your Converse high tops, kisses you on the instep, and makes you feel quite larkish and daft. It's relatively new. It is called Dandelions. Oh, my internet connection is unstable, darn it all. Let's keep our fingers crossed. The poem's called Dandelions and Diaries, and it comes in 4 sections. I'll merely pause between the 4 sections rather than say 1, 2, 3. Dandelions and Diary. I would polish your boots with a silken wash rag and give you the MBTA in all its rush hour wonkiness. I would buy you a bicycle, a yellow Columbia 10-speed, like the one I pedaled when Franconia Village was blithe and magical. I would bestow upon you deep and endless baskets of dandelions and diaries. Fan weather now, too cool for the AC this September night. I am watching Dean Kate Moorhead Carroll on YouTube from Jacksonville. I bow to her spectacles, to her affable sagacity. Women priests, oases, all in my existential Sahara. The clocks of Somerville are whimsic and southpaw, giving my trick questions even trickier answers. Starlight o'clock. 1/4 sideways. 20 minutes to Canada. I would trudge your luggage all the way from Basingstoke to Canterbury. I would bridge the channel for you, give you a bistro in Calais, a chapel in Dunkirk. You would be Julian of Norwich, Athena, dusty Springfield, and I, a bent codger, fastening your sandal straps just before you sidle down the aisle, splendiferous bride getting hitched to felicity. Peace and light, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thomas, thank you. That was wonderful. I think about the tradition of the old poems, and there's an ode to the onion as per Pablo Neruda. There's ode to toenails. Now there's the ode to the belly, which I personally love.
Thank you.
That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Next, we have Jordan Turk. Is Jordan here?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Hi, Jordan. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. Thank you to everyone who has organized this event. I am obviously not just appearing as Christina Strong, but thankful to her for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm going to start with the opening or prologue of a text called Transparent Bodies that I wrote for the Adrian Duckworth Museum back in 2017. And then from a newer project that's still in development called We Teach the Body to Grieve. Last night, I wandered for 7 city blocks, dripping with the humidity before a storm that never came, thinking of you on a plane to anywhere but where I was, where I am. You said it's easier to leave. I can feel now what it means to stay. And you said you craved the moving. Well, I don't want to wander. You leaving allowed me to write again, as if I can only find the words after. I am always writing an epilogue, looking back and never forward. You are a film flashing stillness, while I am the snapshot you took of me in that glow of early morning, held always in a moment of morning, the next image you'll take. And then the second section is the opening of that project, We Teach the Body to Grieve. We teach the body to grieve. It's durational, ongoing learning in our skin, deeper beneath even, generationally pass it like it's a genetic viral infection inflicted. We experience and continue to move through. Yet the body remembers, summons it to the surface with each new loss. I was never really crying for you or my own loss. My body holds, however, holds it close. At night, I wrap myself up in the sadness and cry just to taste salt. You become bitter to remember. Touch me again. this time with meaning. You lay next to my body, immobilized by prescription bottles of painkillers and the incision that stretches from hip to hip. Kiss that spot on my neck you used to bite. We lose hours and all we have are moments of quiet heat. The night ends in cold embraces, my spine held still by your trembling fingers. It's become so tenuous. The kisses passed through pursed lips, and I'm not the type of person who can contain these feelings in a house you share with her. She is a specter who floats above our every flirtation. She visits our bed, obscuring any possibility for me to relax. Instead, I lay in repose, a cut up corpse of scars and swallowed silences. Try to remember I'm only a guest in your bed, that she lives here. You cry on the phone, trying to pull away, all the while touching those tender bruises to watch me wince. I ask you again, what are we now, hoping to find words to soothe and settle my mind, which draws us downward, deeper into the cum-stained sheets of our makeshift bed. The sheet snaps, sliding from the friction of our three bodies crawling into each other. Can you fuck a ghost, a memory, or a feeling? I leave to write down those things I can't speak, while your tongue sucks the mix of blood and cum from my bruised cunt. I too need less. I too want rest. I too want to find our way back from the entangled touches and tortured glances of two people trying to find their way into someone new. You hang up and I begin to scribble lines, look at text, realizing we've revived old traumas. And I tell you on the page that if it all goes wrong, I don't want to leave, but do not resuscitate me just to remember. Breaking up. Can you feel me breaking? Can you feel me? I can't feel you breaking. I told you I couldn't write, that I was too comfortable in our relationship. And then 2 days later, you broke up with me. I want to thank you for this hurt. I don't want to honor you in a breakup poem or indulge in a longing for some alternative ending. I've done that too often and with him. I'm stronger having allowed you to hurt me, if only so I can remember how easily I can heal. I've been healing for years, yearning to unlearn, let go. I've had deeper cuts, my body carved and sewn. No emotional affliction can affect my body the way a scalpel does. This too will fade, and from it I am altered but not destroyed, not disfigured. I should have figured out sooner, but your softness blunted my resistance, your desire dulled my defenses. I don't want to return to stone, return to the hardness I harvested from all the failures. I want to cultivate the cure. I want to stay soft. I want to stay tender. I just wanted to be honest. I just wanted to heal. I'm the monster. I'm the problem. Or what if you saw yourself, saw me, could see what I would have done? I'd like to go back. I'd like to start over. This is not a confession. This is not real. Nothing feels real right now. You told me I just want everyone to wake up tomorrow and be better. I want to feel better. I wanted to feel you better. I don't know what I want now. A path forward. What does repair make possible inside our relationship? I ask you because I've been trying to mend myself since you left, and I'm not finished, not better, not healed enough. No, I might never be. But what does it mean to be finished? I know when I started my transition, I felt people saw me as needing to be taught, not having some sort of knowledge only women knew. I came to understand that I was not yet woman enough, but starting. I assumed at some point I'd just know. I'd reach it and come into my own, become a woman, but I'm still becoming, still unlearning, still caught in a spiraling loop that circles back and always returns to him, you. When you died, he died, I did. So I never got to know if you'd still like me, still laugh at dumb things I'd say, smoking cigarettes as we drove down roads my van I'd inherited from my grandfather couldn't handle, the ridges and steep inclines of uneven dirt between my bed and yours. And it felt like those miles stretched, that everything, every version of us could go on forever, listening to music as we drove, getting high in fields along the road, and how I'd laid down for you to take pictures of my naked body. She tells me to try and see the emptiness of my evenings now as potential, my body waiting to be refilled. My body is an archive I can only see through your lens, like a body isn't a thing so much as an accumulation of moments. I still have moments with you even now, even after the breakup, after your suicide, after I've killed off those parts of me you never saw. I think I tried to find you in the living, fuck you again with their body, even if it's just an imitation of what I felt for you. When
Thank
they
you
left,
so much, Jordan.
sorry, I didn't
Not
realize.
at all. No,
Um,
no, no. I,
okay,
I always hate to cut people off. But
totally.
there were a couple comments I had to make. One is about saying the body electric, a la Walt Whitman, and I felt remnants of that. He was one of the poets to understand that sexual freedom meant freedom of democracy. And I hear echoes of that. There's a wonderful poet by the name of Raphael Campbell who wrote about the truth of the body and what the body told. And your work is so evocative. I thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, next up, we have Jenny Grassi. Jenny, are you all set?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
you. You're welcome.
I'd like to thank the Christinas and the Chad Tina, and I'd like to begin with two poems. Well, I'll end with two poems too, because I have two poems. And I'm going to read from my new book, Magicolia, just out from 3 Ataus Press. So, the first poem is called Briar Rose as Hysteric at the End of the World, also known as Sleeping Beauty at Disney World. Will not wick a rose unto June, desires fossil plants and animals slick, spill city. How many skies steam over triple deckers and choking eglantine? Only thorned kingdom ajar, keenest hawk elegy, lamp left on hot and useless to wake 100 years and then lie with the prince deeper than clothes. Master the century of addled blue, unbidden magic, sleep's new insomniac dawn. Princess lush, proclaiming ash, loud tongue, bramble pierced, to tell, to bawl the over. So the next poem is also about hysteria. It's a theme, and it's called Hysteria Medicine. And it's also about medicine, meds, which I guess most poets know nothing about. But in any case, it's about medicine gone wrong. Propped up, a diagnosis. Sunspot plumes, blotto benign. Note to self, fill daily boxes with correct pills and gratitude. Cross out with love and gratitude. RX number, please leave your name and phone number. I should carry you aripiprazole in a lacquered pillbox, in a faux zebra purse. I would race medicine, heady bright through this age of reason, with devil-may-care and trail mix, nuts, raisins, and you in a faux zebra purse. Dear aripiprazole, preventer of manic episodes, Why do you cause the best manic episodes? And why don't I mind your fail? Snow during Advent medicine, buxom Disneyland, and diamond spurred cowboy medicine. You accrue to me like a circle of friends with mass appeal. Fashion medicine, full flounce. Medicine becoming partly windy after a swelter. Hallelujah! Whiskey to a parched sailor. Medicine on the dance floor, on Donner and Blitzen. A whole museum of fine, fine arts. Reality TV with me, the laughing star. Popcorn medicine, chicken fried, outright outlandish medicine. Me delivered from cliches and evil. Pitter patter of little pill feet. Wonderland, contraband, counter-cultural medicine, pre-destiny medicine, high Catholic mass medicine, quack country doctor medicine, oh, fast car and big house medicine, lipstick on the mirror for you medicine, kudos and kilted dancers, and glass bowls of guppies, and a few of my Rodgers and Hammerstein favorite things. And lo, favorite flavor? Your resume is scant. How provocative. But you're hired. For one mired in a past of false admirers, Zyprexa, etc., you require only my daily dosing, and unbelievably positive outlook. With love, in paradoxical reaction, your fan. Thank you.
Jenny, that was joyful and profound and sad at the same time. You pulled it off. There was one line I placed in the chat, medicine on the dance floor, on Donner, on Blitzen. It reminds me of an album by Sophie Ellis Baxter called Murder on the Dance Floor, and I thank you for that. Wonderful reading. Thank you. Next up, we have Parmeet Rasa.
Yeah,
Perfect. Welcome.
yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot to the organizer for doing this and giving me a chance. So my first poem is about my struggle between mind and the heart. So the dream I have is dying. I can't do anything to make it survive. The color of the sky and the smell in the air keep reminding me that I'm not from here. The enjoyment of technology and the excitement of advancement in technologies don't provide any happiness. Further, it just allows me to forget from where I am and only for a moment. Number of social medias are increasing without any social values. We are creating jungle of selfies but not of trees. We are sharing our happiness with everyone without involving anyone in that. I am from a jungle, and jungle needs social interactive animal as described by Aristotle. In this virtual society made of millions of followers and subscribers, my jungles are dying, our jungles are dying, and in the last, I am left alone with my happiness and with my poems. The second poem is continuation of that. The sadness of roots, the calmness of stems, the perfectness of leaves together brings happiness in nature in the form of flowers. Flowers, the source of real happiness, comes along with thorns. Do they care? Not at all, because they don't have time, and their goal is not to protect themselves to persist here, but to make a lucid day and tinted weather to have a beautiful and colorful jungle. My next poem is about the beauty of night or the meaning of the night. Night brings moon, stars, stories, desire, dreams. It gives you a chance to correct your mistake and to connect with your roots. But the important message the night brings is that men are weak. Men are weak as we need a lap to have a peaceful, colorful, and beautiful night. And this poem, the next one, is the title is Bereft Rainbow. It's about my childhood memory. So life is a complete circle for someone and a linear road for others. It is full of ups and downs and struggles for a majority, and full of dreams for the remaining. For me, it started. For me, it started and will end at a single point. The journey I started without any technology and still got the most memorable patches of colors. The path was full of dust, but still contained a rainbow almost every day. Today, I might be in the top 10% enjoying all the benefits of technology, but still no rainbow, no fun, no patches of color. When the heart of God lose its color, when dust and rain cannot create the color of a rainbow, a father comes and fills the color for his son. A father makes a rainbow to make the world colorful, brightful, beautiful for his son. And now I miss those colors. And the last one is the about a strong house. Evolution is the dawn where one ends its journey and the other begins. Your eyes are the point in this three-dimensional world where my heart makes sharp turns. In this temporary world where ocean, rivers, trees, everything has a half life, I want to work hard and save money to build a house for us, the house where I will see you in a mirror and after shower, the house where the house that will last throughout many generations to tell our story, our journey, like a story or journey of a dinosaur. Only a tale crosses multiple eras during evolution to teach ancestral history. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There were so many profound thoughts on how we mediate between the technological world, which we're in right now, but also the world of the human heart, which we're also in. And thus is the paradox. I thank you for that
Yeah,
greatly.
thanks. Thanks a lot.
Of course, you're so welcome. Next up, we have the fabulous Annie Wan.
Thanks so much, Christina. And thanks for pronouncing my last name correctly. Hooray. Thanks so much for the organizers, and so great to see everybody. So great to see Douglas via his bobblehead doll, I'm guessing, and Memorial Light and whatever else he's got going on there. Very exciting. First poem's a little bit of an older one. We thought she saw the women we wanted. We couldn't see her, so we sawed her. We sawed the women in half because we wanted to see what was inside. Because the women wouldn't tell us. Because we had to know. We had to look. We were always told to look. It's not often that you look at a woman like this. It's not often when you look into a woman, when you tell her, what do you call her? No man could get inside her like this. You will be greater than the sum of your parts. You will be greater than the sum of your 0.33 millimeter sections. As you drop her in formaldehyde, forceps her eyeballs into a jar, dipping the sections one side and the other. No woman has ever done what you'll do, you tell her, laying a hand on her as you comfort her. All your surfaces exposed under glass, so many slivers so close to our fingers, which, as you said, as you always wished, more than to be close is to be visible. The one woman visible to the world. Next pieces are from a chapbook called The Center for Hierarchical Manufacturing. Board of Spiritual Advisors. 12 a.m. No whiskey on the shelf again. 12:01 a.m. A bag of Doritos, a box of wine, and a can of Cheese Whiz. 12:02 a.m. The cat won't shut it. 12:03 a.m. After my tongue is stained yellow, it is stained purple. After the transformation, she could not open her right eye without considerable pain. Every time she forced it open, she heard a crunch. A tiny casnet snapped shut. Her nose flapped a little sideways. Every time she breathed in, her head would expand. Like gills, her nostrils slammed shut, her heels a little stiff, her toes a little longer. She felt the need to palm the ground on hands and knees. The contact of body on the ground was mostly lacking. The brain. Next piece is called Flat Worlds. The podcast says the minimalist learns to live with a flat world. All the crowds, all the bird chirps, all scurrying squirrels, flattened and frozen. The entirety of all things taking up less space. The procedure is rather straightforward. Sign here, a single incision, she said. Circling the skin afterward, she found her body topography as thin as a sheet of paper. Everything printed in a barcode across her arm. She is now certified carbon neutral. Sound was an unnecessary side effect, the on button permanently on. She began to feel a lightness, a knowledge that the flat world was an imprinted script left on a microchip, both intelligent and artificial and perfect as her favorite sandwich, already made at the same hour every morning. And the other things, the extracted tissue, the deep inside her body, the things that did not belong, were gone. No need for explanations, no vague organs, all her mass is removed, save pH-balanced world attitude, no room for the things that belong to no one, nothing except just zeros and ones, nothing except the ladle of time. It fills, it tips, the ladle of time, it tips and tips. Thank you.
Annie, that was chilling. The ladle of time. I absolutely love. Thank you. Next up, we have Sean Cole.
So
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thank you to Christina, and Chad. Shout out to Douglas. It's good to see you, man. I'm going to be reading with Christina Strong. It's a duo for the last section here. We wrote a manuscript of sonnets, February sonnets. We wrote a sonnet back and forth to each other every day for the month of February 2020 and the month of February 2024. So we're going to read 4 of the ones from 2024. I always went first and then she responded. I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a cough. So I'll just jump into those. February 15th. This is from this year, 2024. February 15th. Shall it be me, sings Timothy Chalamet whilst cooking shallots on a sham cooking show. We had a band called Tim and Him. Our logo, 2 crossed fingerlings and a nice Bernays. Praise feels harder when it's half-handed, like from our off audience. All the world's backstage when you're him. All the world's a cage, the men and women merely pliers. So escapeless this pliant island, though I walk like a peninsula and photograph well enough alone. In Timothy's apartment, we look at pictures of bridges with Beau Bridges, who's so into it. Babies scale the cable stays in one depiction. Real babies, made of wood and silk. We're shooting a commercial for Pure Rage. Constipated? Try Pure Rage, the adenoid enlarger that shoots mood juice through your recollector. The past bringing the past up to a hump and dumping it. No more memory blank. I wish it paid more. Today, every day, is Chalamet tattooed on a nubile rump. His Shayna Punim stays stable like one baseball, blameless, calculable, and Empyrean.
Horton hears a sax horn, sees outdated phone screen background, People making babies to horns and drums, stand-up bass, straight edge ethos, straight too narrow, can't even park some boxy English little showy coupe, esoteric. In one caption, a baby is reaching for its mother, screaming, adrenaline, some gland, blame it on genes. That forever morning spot, is it gone? Watch a video on how to saute shallots. Blame the mentor for forgetting the details. You're the ugly child, pick a musical instrument. And shame for, well, all the rest. A photo enlarger can only blow up so many things to, well, not scale at all. I could see the pores on the model's skin in this bus kiosk. It's no wonder people seek, though also they are not seekers either. Showy commercials of bouncing humans on trampolines. Let's try the sunlight in the afternoon.
February 27th. Now I know that we're neither of us totally made of cement, so the silence as we up the stairs is hard of hearing in its loneliness. Green grows the pock of tennis noise, one fist to another. Hercule is the rouge on your face, seeking questions. I suck. Hear that sound? That's me sucking all tree air into hornet's cage and plucking the nouns out. Hand that to you. Here. What do you hear but collage? Does it stain? Take my hand. No, wait, there's a lake in it still. I didn't tell anyone till I told you how tin cup I've been. A day at least. The face of this too tumorous. Molars for toes. Days are darts pinned down in armless protest. Now that neither of us is a house, who can say who said who isn't made of sable tied to a branch? No wind.
I am a dragon twice removed from the atmosphere, say tongue-tied or looking for atmosphere. How long to start or stab? Radio silence is excruciating, really, let's admit. I see your wound before it appears. It's a conch shell looking for its periodic table. Blue blaze flame, looking for the full album found nature by scaling fences. Creative insults at inappropriate times. Already got myself locked out twice. Who is the puppy? Really, describe mildew. Try to be polite. Polis has eyes, but not sweating in post office trousers. People who describe themselves as former poets suddenly explain 12-year-old pilfering through abandoned shopping malls. Or they wish the initial coolness, the lines to burn on that firm film chest makes them feel special.
February 28th. I like the curve of this 7, this one. I'm near the tip just under its jog, watching the rest of it curl through slender station. The observer is the observed. On 7s, inside horses rolling up to the gates of Troy, New York. The gates of Troy, New York is a paintball filling station and food emporium come nude dancer excursion vessel parked in the harbor of this landlocked Elysium. The dancers sit on an average 7 and ride around, their gazes swooping the crest of his rough, hoarse brow. It's delicious, isn't it? I think to them. I dasn't utter. Horses are the men of 7s. They're what's observed when the human numbers arrive. Our gaze funneled through a trumpet understanding. You make in your eyes what you can of the horse, not what you will. It's hard, being on earth and also of it, watching shy horizon mute into a cloud.
Future searches on my computer. Disordered, death, joy, we, full album, deer owl, rabbit is king of the ghosts, mushrooms, war, food, hope, alien. Borders are fucked up. Having borders is fucked up. Lost the scale of boundaries. Who was here before I was here? Birthday, AIF, TIF, neglected GIF, a small imprint, has its own police file. Freak, outsider, normal, quasi, oh, flying machine, privilege the homeowner over the renter, octopus, broken face, trains, mirror, horses, empathy, imply, island, body death, trap,
February 29th. Something about even the escalator thanks me I'm alive. Marching its down program past the doubled holding on slur besties into the new train with its leather-panted painted telephone Thursdays and the good Samaritans all easeling each other's Tetris, the eep dizzle of Philip Keitel record handhelds, the interior Dick Pictionary of the tall manded. My, to like oneself down here for a pixel. Living in the future as we used to, there was a high temporary gloss to the gust of subterranea. Station to station, I feel a flex in my vest, one chasm linking another in a floral ring. We all got here through a tunnel, or at least a bleeding side port to thwart morticians' mornings. Now to moan or sober jammies. Less Babe, more Ruth.
Letter to editor. Your opening paragraph was unnecessarily put down. Sentence. First year journal misstatement starting off column. Despite failure to perfect a vegan, gluten-free, neither had pizza, show ponies, miniature form. It's not true there's complete silence. The hum, a decibel too uncomfortable to name, fictional and non-yarns about vandalizing the earth with natural chalk and dyes, ghost and disassociative states. A small town put in down print silt should also display typos, how not to, or fix anyway, had a glint, diction lame, constant parade of insults reminiscent of the 80s. Water off a duck's back fat is a cheap pate. Gloss to the parlor ghost. ABC versus XYZ, write that down in your drugstore notebook. Housewives of want to do a safe burn after?
That's my favorite poem in the whole thing.
Thank
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
you.
We're looking for a publisher for this, if anybody knows one of those.
Yes.
If
Put it in the
only.
chat, please. Yes.
Thank you both. That
Thank
was
you.
a wonderful way of rounding off this penultimate hour. Thank you.
Excellent.
So we have a brief break.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you all. I'd like to thank our readers in chronological order. We have, let's see. Samuel Ace, Sean Cole, well, no, I'm sorry, Thomas De Freitas, Jordan Turk, Jenny Grassi, Harmeet Krasa, Annie Wan, Sean Coe, and Xtina Strong. Thank you all. We'll be back at 8 p.m. Please join us and we'll come back.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Fabulous. Appreciate it.
Very nice reading.